Hello, this is Addie Mae. Thanks for watching Encouraging Kids, where we talk to people and hear stories of inspiration about how kids can make a difference in the world. We are the future, so let's start now with Encouraging Kids. Today our guest is Theresa Rowe. She is the founder of Shaped by Faith. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on, Addie Mae.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I could tell you a lot about myself, but I'll keep it brief, okay? I'm a Nana. I have 14 grandchildren, married, live out on a farm. I'm not a farmer though. I like to be indoors a lot, and I'm a fitness director at a church here in Owensboro, Kentucky, and I have a Shaped by Faith with Theresa Rowe exercise show that's on national television. I write for our newspaper. I have some faith-based DVDs and CDs, and I actually work with your dad. I mean, yeah. No, I work with him on Project Volunteer. I love the show, love the idea of the show, walking in the shoes of a volunteer for a day. It's a really neat show.
Tell us how Shaped by Faith got started and your mission.
Okay, well, many years ago, when I was a youngster, I was actually 26 years old. I moved back to Kentucky. I had open heart surgery out in Omaha, Nebraska. They found several holes in my heart, so they kind of patched them up. I was born with holes in my heart, had no clue. And so moved back to Kentucky after that, and I was teaching a fitness class because that's what I did for a living. And this lady came up to me after my class and she said, "Can I pray with you?" And I thought that was so strange. I thought she was a weirdo because I really didn't have a relationship. Well, I should say I didn't have a relationship with God or Jesus Christ at the time. So I kind of just like dismissed her and let her know that I had to go pick up my daughter from preschool. And she was very polite. She said, "Okay." And so that afternoon when my little girl was taking a nap, I heard this knock at my door. And back in those days, you have a little peephole in the door, and so I'm looking through it going, oh my gosh, this lady is standing out here on my porch, and I'm like, how did she know my address? I mean, we're not even like friends. I mean, I just know her because she comes to my fitness class. She's standing out there and she's continuing to knock. Not real loud, but just like enough. And I thought, okay, she's gonna wake up my little girl. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not gonna answer the door because I think it's weird that she's there. I mean, all these thoughts were running through my head, and then just something inside of me just said, just go ahead and open the door. Just open it. And so I did. And the first thing she says is, I know you probably think I'm weird or a fruitcake, but I promise you I'm not. And she said, I have to be obedient to God. And that sounded weird to me. I'm like, okay. And she said, God told me to pray for you today because He's going to heal you. And I thought that was even stranger. So I invited her in, just in the hallway. I didn't even offer her a seat or anything. And I love being a great hostess. You can ask your dad about that. So I'm like, okay, so what? And she's like, I want to go ahead and pray with you. And I thought, let's just get this over with. I mean, in my brain, I'm not telling her that. I'm being real nice on the outside, being real polite. And she wanted to like hold my hands, like pray. I'd never done that with anybody ever in my entire life. And I'm like, that is even stranger. So I kind of backed up and she just stood there just really calm. And I can tell you, it had to have been God. He kind of moved me forward towards her. And she held my hands, and when she did, Addie Mae, it felt like I was having a heart cath all over again. When you have a heart cath, they go through your carotid artery, your main artery, and they put this dye all through your veins. And so all of a sudden, everything in your body heats up. I mean, you can feel things running through your veins in your arms, in your legs, your torso. I mean, just everywhere, even around your teeth. I mean, you're feeling this warmth and this kind of like you know, it feels like you're being electrocuted a little bit. It's kind of strange. I felt that. That really got my attention because I'm like, what in the world is going on? And she prayed with me, and I couldn't even tell you what she prayed, and she left. I mean, She didn't try and convince me to be a Christian or anything. I will tell you, when she left, everything changed for me in that moment. It's like God knew I was ready to accept him into my life. And so I just said, God, come into my heart. And he did, I mean, just like that. And the next day I went into my fitness class and I'm like, okay, I cannot teach fitness the way I've been teaching it. I can't play the music I've been playing. I don't know how to do this, Lord. And I promised the Lord the night before, after I was saved right there in my home, me and God, I promised him that I would teach fitness in a way that would bring him glory. And I had no clue how to do that. So here's what I said. My mouth open. Before I even thought about it, I asked if anybody had any prayer requests. And I started shaking inside and like getting kind of sweaty, going, oh my gosh, what did I just say? I've never ever prayed for anyone. And a few ladies raised their hands in the back of the class, and the other ladies were just like looking at each other like, what is she doing? And so I don't remember what they asked for. I fumbled through the prayer, and that's how Shaped by Faith began. From that point forward, I asked God to lead me in how to combine faith with fitness to bring glory to him. So all my classes start with prayer, a lot of them with devotionals, and just however the God leads me to encourage the students that are out there in the class.
You're an author, speaker, radio, TV host, and write your own newspaper column. Tell us about that.
Oh goodness. Okay, I can tell you one thing. God made all that happen. I had nothing to do with that. I can tell you that. For the newspaper, I started writing in 2004, and I will tell you, I did not like to write at all. I didn't write, I didn't journal, I didn't even know what a verb was from a noun, I'm like, I didn't care, honestly. So when the newspaper, I was working at the YMCA at the time, they came and they wanted to have a meeting with me, and they said, we have this idea, can you do a column for us every other week? And it wasn't about faith and fitness then, it was about fitness. Can you give our readers some tips on fitness? So that's kind of how that got developed. And then it developed through the years, and now I talk about Jesus all the time in my columns, and it's called Shaped by Faith. The TV show, it's a God thing. I've always wanted to do TV on a national level, and I've done local TV, like with the cable network, but God opened the doors definitely, and your dad helped also make that happen. I hate to admit it, but I asked him if he would film my show and if he would produce it, and he's like, I don't know how to do that, and I'm like, you can do it. Let's just do it. So when he did, and he got the crew together to video it, they accepted it on a national level, which I was shocked, but they accepted it, and it just kind of, started there. And that was in 2019, October 2019, Shaped by Faith with Theresa Rowe started. It's in over 200 countries, seen in over 300 million homes. It airs 24/7, and there's no way I could have done that. So I give God all the glory and praise, because I wanted to do this years ago in my 30s, and I'm past 55. So I didn't think this would really happen, although I had that dream and vision in my heart. So I will say, when God gives you a dream or a vision, hold on to it and don't let it go, and just keep working towards that dream or vision, and God will help you with it.
How would you encourage kids to be a positive influence in the media?
Well, I would say you're doing that right now, right? So you have the honor to interview people who encourage other people. So if they're fortunate like you to have a dad who can help you with the filming and teach you how to edit, I think what you're doing right now, Addie Mae, is amazing. And I think the other kids that are not on television, maybe if they're good at writing, they should write. And they could submit it to a magazine or their school newsletter or something like that. I know that schools offer a lot of media opportunities that you could learn about. So I would say get involved with that in your school or learn about it if you're interested. And I would say if you want to write, start writing. Don't wait until I did, but start writing. And just encourage kids. Not only kids, encourage adults. Adults need encouraging too, right?
Mm-hmm. Do you have an inspirational story you can share about your ministry?
I have several. I've seen so many people come through my fitness classes, and I've seen them lose a lot of weight because a lot of times they'll come in there to get fit and get healthy and get strong. But more than that, I've seen their heart transform. By that I mean maybe they didn't go to church before, maybe they didn't really think about God, and maybe they didn't think about combining their faith with their fitness. The biggest change and the most inspirational things I've seen is that transformation of the spirit, the mind, and the body. There was one lady years ago, I used to teach in the evenings, and we'd have 150 people come into my class. The class was called Total Body Challenge. And she was kind of intimidated to go to the class, so she just kind of wanted to watch it. And there's a walking track up above the gym. So she said she was up there walking one night, and she was a little bitter because her mother had passed away. She was sad. She blamed God for it. And she said that as I was speaking scriptures and encouraging the students, that something within her broke. And she said, I just started crying. And she said, God helped me in that moment. And she came to my class, the next class, and she stayed there for years. So I would say that was a blessing to be a part of that.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me as your guest.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share to help us reach others so we can continue encouraging kids.